Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for checking out my video. My name is Chris Todd, and here on my channel we delve into the amazing stories behind great food and drink. Today I'm going to be bringing you my 5 top bartending tips for beginners. So whether you're new to the industry or you're just looking to make some great drinks at home, these are going to be really helpful. Stick around till the end, where I'll be showing you one of my recipes that you can take away and utilise at home. Let's get into it. Tip number 1. Use lots of ice. We've all been there at that pub or bar where you've ordered a gin and tonic and it's come with 2 cubes of ice that have melted by the time you've got back to the table. Use a whole glassful and it will keep the drink cooler, it will stop the ice melting, and it just looks and tastes far better. The quality of the ice is also really important. Big, dense ice is going to melt far more slowly than thin, watery ice. So if you're bartending at home, consider buying the bags of ice from the supermarket. There's normally the branded stuff is actually pretty good, like the party ice stuff is great. And if you work in the industry, just have a look at your ice machines, maintain them, keep them clean, and get a load of, if you're using like an ice well, make sure you fill it up just before service and replace anything that's already melted. Tip number 2 is be creative with your presentation. Garnishes, glassware, and the ice all contribute to how the drink looks, and in a lot of ways how the drink looks is just as important as how it tastes. Cocktails are about theatre and fun, and having a drink that looks great really sells it. There's lots of simple ways to make really nice garnishes. I tend to favour citrus garnishes, zests, wheels, wedges, but then just sort of think about how you actually present them on the drink. So rather than the big fat chunk just on the side of the glass, something sort of delicately placed in the drink itself in a lot of ways can look a lot better. Don't be afraid to think outside the box as well when it comes to garnishes. You don't just need to use citrus, even though it is a really nice, clean, easy way of garnishing a drink. You can utilise herbs or spices, powders, even props, whatever kind of links to the story behind the drink and the sort of look and feel that you're going for. The same can be said for the glassware itself. Use jars or cans or anything that again adds value to the drink and helps you create a story. I personally don't tend to use the sort of traditional curvy sort of cocktail glasses. I like sort of sleeker, shorter glasses or elegant cocktail glasses. So my third tip is be experimental with flavours. So whether you're making your own syrups or your own spirit infusions and liqueurs, it's quite straightforward. It really doesn't take long, especially for syrups. It's literally water, sugar, and some sort of flavouring that you want to use. But it's a really cost-effective way, both for businesses and just for individuals at home, rather than going out and spending 10, 15, 20 pounds on a bottle of liqueur or 5, 10 pounds on a bottle of syrup. And actually, you can have a lot of fun with it at home. Again, it adds to that story behind the drink, and it really lifts the flavour. Just by tweaking things rather than just using some sugar, but using like a flavoured syrup, it's great. And of course, you can use the syrups for other things. So if you're worried about, I'm only going to make a couple of drinks, you can just make the syrup and use it in baking or coffees or other things as well. My fourth tip is just be subtle and careful around balancing flavours. One of my biggest sort of bugbears when I'm ordering a cocktail out and about is just how sweet they are sometimes. So cut back on the sweeteners if you can. Balance it with citrus fruits, just a squeeze of fresh lime juice or something just to lift the drink. You can get really nice mixers, really nice spirits. You don't want to hide those and mask those with 25 millilitres of sugar and 25 millilitres of lemon all the time. It really can mask the really nice flavours. My fifth and final tip for you today is just create really simple, beautiful drinks. There's so many lovely recipes out there with literally 2, 3, 4 ingredients. So literally just spirit, mix citrus and a bit of liqueur or sweetener or something in there. Especially utilising lemon and lime, sodas, ginger beers, tonics. You don't need to have a full bar like this to make really nice drinks. So to recap, tip number 1: use lots of ice in order to keep the drink as cold as possible. Tip number 2, experiment with your glassware and your garnishes to really lift the presentation of the drink. Tip number 3 is create your own syrups and your own liqueurs to save some money, and also just again to add to the flavour of the drink. Tip number 4 is be careful in the balance of the drink, so play with the citrus flavours, the sugars, to just try and make sure none of the flavours are too overpowering. And then the 5th and final tip is just use simple recipes. Try with just 3 or 4 ingredients, perfect it, and then move on. So on to the recipe, as promised at the beginning of the video. This is going to be my take on a dark and stormy, utilising this great Cornish rum, Dead Man's Fingers. I'm going to use Hullabaloo's still ginger beer and my own ginger syrup. So I've just gone for a small rock glass, so lots of ice. I'm going to use a double measure of rum, a splash of my ginger syrup, ginger beer, and garnished with a wheel of lime and some fresh ginger. Thank you very much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider sharing, liking or subscribing, and I hope to see you again soon.